Yeah.
All right, so next up is Bill Sproule. He's going to do a presentation called The 30 and 30 Notable Hockey Books. Bill's a retired civil engineering professor from Michigan Tech. We taught courses in airport design, traffic engineering, transport planning, and hockey history. He joined our organization about 20 years ago and was our vice president for a few years. In his retirement, he has written 2 books, one on, what is that, Houghton?
Yep.
Hockey history, and one on Michigan Tech hockey. He is now working on a Michigan Tech football book. So, Bill.
It's fun to be retired. This particular project was really, I'm a member of the Society for American Baseball Research. And last year they did a project called 50 for 50. To identify, they were celebrating their 50th anniversary and they wanted to identify the 50 notable baseball books. And so I approached the executive here last year, but the idea is our 30th anniversary of SIHR. Could we identify 30 notable hockey books? And that's what started the process. So what we did, we invited members to nominate. I contacted SIHR to see how they did. And so I've replicated that process for SIHR. I invited all the members to nominate books to be considered. And so James Milk set up a elaborate system on our website. Benoit talked about it or introduced it into the bulletin. I think it appeared on listserv and Facebook to invite members to submit nominations. Members could submit up to 10 books. So over 60 people are involved, submitted books. So what we did, or what I did, James helped in the process. We identified we split it into 2 parts. 20 books. The first 20 books would be the most nominated books, and then so we really looked at the list of. It was actually over 225 books that had been nominated. So the top 20 made up 20 out of the 30 books. Then, so that was the first part of the process. So that's what the SIHR people did. They had 30 and 20 split. And then what we did was, well, we've got 10 books to identify. And so the second part of the list was, I turned it back over to the executive and the directors to identify the other 10 books to make up our 30. And so what the executive and the directors were asked to do was they each was given 20 points. The max, and what was left that hadn't made the top 20, they were to select out of those books. So I gave them 20 points. The most they could give to a book was 3 points, or 2 or 1. And so then I totaled up all those that came in, and that gave us the other 10 books. So that's what gave us the 30 books. And so what you have in front of you is you've got the list of the 30 books. It's all alphabetical. No one except James and I know who were the top 20. I'm not going to tell you. It's basically, these are the 30 notable books. I was not involved in the voting at all. I think there should have been some other books put on instead, but I just followed the process. So one of the books was actually identified by Fred today as our kind of the book of the year, is the book on the, I forget the name, Call Me Indian. It's on that list. So this is the list. This is the list. I know somebody's going to ask me, what was the most nominated book? I'll tell you that one. It was the Game by Ken Dryden. It was the most nominated book. I forget even how many was nominated, but it was the most nominated book. Benoit he's got a sneak preview of this book, and he is the next issue of the bulletin. He's going to put the information on the list will be in the next bulletin. I think he's really planning elaborate with the book covers and all kinds of stuff. So the next bulletin will have all this. James also has the list, so it's probably going to appear on the SIHR website within the next couple of days. So there we are. There. Now you're probably thinking, I should have got my friends to nominate my book. Well, there's some outstanding books that have been produced in hockey. Ed noted before, there was over almost 7,500 hockey books identified on the website. So the article that probably Benoit and James will have is a link to that website that includes it. You can click on that book and it gives you much more information about a paragraph of the book, where one gets the book, that type of stuff. So let's open it up to any questions. Yes.
Yeah, Bill, congratulations on suggesting the project, carrying it out. Quick questions of the 225 books. How many were from SIHR authors?
I don't know. I don't know because there's no way to identify if you're a SIHR author or not in the list. So, you know, if you take a look at, say, Herb Carnegie, the very first one, I don't know if he's a member or not.
I'm guessing he's not.
He's probably not, but I don't know. I don't know how many were done by SIHR authors that made the final list. Like we probably go through it. I didn't do that.
I just have a comment on that, and we did don't tell Aubrey Ferguson, but I had been a baseball book group. We've got about 11,000 members, and we had a similar poll looking for the top 100 books, and baseball has beaten to death the best 50 books. Everybody has written their list and pontificated, and we just let our members decide what 20 books they wanted to vote for. And so it was kind of interesting. We got about 250 people of the 11,000 members who voted, which for internet polls is pretty good. But it was just interesting because it was, just no criteria. People kept asking us, how should we decide what's the best baseball book? And so it was, no, you decide. So just a different approach that we took in the baseball world there.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just found it interesting that no books on analytics made it.
Probably it's not a well-known area by our, there were a few nominated, but it didn't make the list, or
Perhaps it has something to do with the age demographics of the group.
it could be age demographic. Let's say there's some outstanding books that
You're old.
there are some outstanding books that I thought should be on the list, but they weren't.
Right.
But I just followed the process. So. Okay.
Hey, Bill, it's Aubrey. Question, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but what books were you thinking of that were excluded? Anything come to mind?
I think one of the ones that Ed noted, an analytics book, maybe I'll say much younger than anybody, but an analytics book. The other one I thought that was kind of interesting was the history, the people's history, or hockey, the people's history. It was a CBC series in probably about 2004, 2005. If you're a Maple Leafs fan, I thought Kevin's Centennial book was one of the. Maybe there's not that many Leaf fans in here, but I thought that was. There's a number of books out there. There were probably one or two out of the Montreal Canadiens or Mark Durant's book about Quebec Nordiques or the Quebec history of hockey. My own book. No, it didn't get any nominated. I didn't nominate it. But there's some others out there too that's just outstanding.
Bill, is there any chance of doing a further publicity for this list? Like, for example, putting out a press release or
That is my plan to put out a press release, and just figure out how to get it out to the press, and maybe you can provide me some guidance, how do I do that?
To the hockey news.
Send it on, good idea, good idea. So I know that it's somewhat of a press release that I passed on to Benoit, so it's easy to send it to others, so. Okay, any other things? Is it time for lunch yet? It is. Okay,
Thanks, Bill.
thank you.
We're gonna break for lunch. Lunch is